This is a virtual happy hour learning workshop. I keep it very interactive. I learn something from the chat room almost every time. So that's what makes it kind of unique, because most people that do workshops don't have real active chats like you guys all are. And I talk fast and I have a lot to go over with you guys. So hopefully you guys are ready. Cheers to you. I always get a lot of cheers there. You guys are awesome. And let's do this. Let's talk about how to become a rock star stager. I, it, I know some people may think, okay, I've seen this one before, but I haven't given it like a year and a half. And then when I went to it, I changed it all up. So it's all brand new. Should have mentioned that in my emails to you, right? Okay, what are we going to go over? There's some very surprising real estate and staging industry crystal ball predictions. I've got some interesting stats for you that surprised me, just came out in the last few days. I'm going to count down. So on a big piece of paper, hopefully you've got your notebook and your phone ready to take photos or screen shares. Countdown, we're going to count down 11 to 1 hot tips. I've been training stagers and designers for over 15 years now, and there's just some things that they do right all the time. And so I want you to build on this. And it's all very big picture too, and then also very nuanced into like getting started and that sort of thing. So how to get a read on your market, what design services are really hot right now, some zero overhead niches that might help your business expand smartly, and inspiring stories and photos. I always love to share those from people like you. And if I give you a ton of information, a ton of good stuff, is it okay? Go ahead and put fine in the chat room so I don't get the yeses. Is it okay if I tell you about some limited time discounts and offers about what I do in my courses? Real briefly, because thank you guys. All right. Who is this for? You are in the right place. If you are just looking into getting into the staging industry, or you're looking into design, I mean, a huge trend I talked about in my last trends workshop is this great resignation. We're just like, we're all searching for something. You know, there's something of it that the world is moving so fast and has been so chaotic that it's put all of us, off balance with COVID. Do you feel that way? Put it in the chat room. And it's just making us sometimes search for something different. So it's definitely for people like that. For new home stagers, got a lot of good actionable material for you, some directions that you might want to go. My veteran stagers, my people, I always add new stuff. I'm going to be speaking to both. Even if you just love design, I think you'll get a lot out of this, and particularly even agents who want to know more about home staging. So it's a good one for that. And in fact, I'm going to see if I can get a poll. I used to have a poll, a survey up, and I wished let me see. I'm going to do this. This could be an old one. Do you guys see the poll on what best describes you? I don't always do this, but it's kind of fun. Go ahead and click on, whether you're not a stager looking into the industry, new stager, veteran stager, design lover, all of those things. I'm giving you a moment. Keep it a little interactive because I think this is always super interesting. Hopefully you guys see these poll. Let me know in the chat room. I can't tell. Do you see the poll results? Yes or no? I've got about 32% looking into the industry, 20% new stager. You guys are changing it around on me. Veteran is 12%, 22% design lover, 11% real estate agent. Okay, good. You see it. Great. That's kind of interesting. Gotta love these little new technologies, right? Okay. So I'm going to go back to my screen share, see if I can get that back on there. Sorry. There we are. So you should be able to see that. Okay. Basically, if you love to see rooms that go from this to that, then you're in the right place. That's okay. I'll share the results, Sherry. That's good. And I hear you, Linda, you don't know where to start. I have a whole couple slides on getting started. Who am I? Okay. If you don't know who I am, my name's Audra Slinky. I have been kind of the longest running home staging certification trainer, one of the longer ones. I started in 2006. I started actually the first online mixed media staging and redesign training company together. I blog for the National Association of Realtors and my own. I've won some awards. I've shared the stage with Barbara Corcoran, Vern Yip, Sabrina Soto. I mean, I live and breathe the staging industry. I absolutely love it. But the thing that I love is I'm proud to have trained like the most successful stagers. That's what I'm kind of distilling is their tips in the industry. People who got started. If you recognize that logo, HSR, that's my person. They've gone through my training. And I put everything I found out and knew about staging and design in this training for 10 years, and I still do. It's just always evolved. Then I added a color training for people who just want to do, like, they love color and they want to do color consulting. And then I added design plan training, e-design planning, e-design, mood boards, creating mood boards using technology to kick off your design business more recently. So these are my 3 courses. If you've ever taken any of my courses, you know I get nervous every time I do this. So a little shout out is always, a little love is always a nice thing to get in the chat room. So if you have, go ahead. Oh, good. I'm glad. Save your questions, guys. Save your questions till the end. I'm going to answer them at the end. But great. All right. So this kind of workshop started with a story that I got that it's kind of been like brewing. And I think a lot of you guys can relate to this. And it started with Jackie, actually. I interview people every time they take my staging training. I just want to know what their goals or hopes or dreams, because every time somebody jumps into this world of staging and design, they each have kind of different ideas of what they want for themselves. And COVID really kind of 10 times to that for us, right? Where we really had to prioritize and put things in perspective in our lives. It was like this big reset for all of us. And Jackie's words really hit home with me, because when I asked what her hopes and goals were, she put, "I would love to do this full time. Life is too short not to dream big and go after your dreams with everything you've got. I want to wake up every morning excited to get out of bed, doing what I love, all the while helping others. They say you'll never work a day in your life if you're doing what you love." And I actually really love that, because I thought that just kind of, do you guys feel that sometimes? You like think that, because I know I do, and that always changes whether you're in the staging industry or not. Sometimes you get in the staging industry jobs that you're like, oh, why'd I do this? You want to be able to wake up doing the right kind of services, the right kind of work, being in your sweet spot, and we'll talk about that. But one thing that's interesting about Jackie is when she was going through the training, she's actually also got a double mastectomy. She worked a full-time job. I mean, she had a lot going on. So to hear her say that, and you're going to hear more about her story later, was pretty cool. So have you been struggling with wanting to do something more with your life and your time? Something more aligned with your passions? Go ahead in the chat room. I get it. And I always do this kind of on a January 1st when I do my goals. And I actually these are my 2 boys long ago when I actually had that epiphany. And I'm so glad I took that moment, because I actually had, I'd had a successful internet business, and it made really good money for me. But it wasn't really in my passion spot. And I just kind of was like feeling this weird stirring. And it was about when my boys were this age. And that's when I discovered staging and started my staging business with my sister, who still has the business in Santa Cruz now. She's moved, but that's why I always share her work too. But that just changed everything for me. And flash forward, here they all are. I mean, my oldest son has a mustache, for goodness sake. So basically, I'm so glad I took that moment and found it and changed directions. Even though I had a successful career and it was all good, I used to train Fortune 500 companies, and it just wasn't in my sweet spot. It didn't fill that fire in my belly. And I'm glad I took that moment, because at the end of the day, we always realize as time flies, but we're the pilot. But half the time, don't you feel like sometimes I feel like I'm too busy to even take the time? Do you feel that way? Where you're like, I'm just too busy to even think about what direction my business is going. And I'm running into that with even a lot of my stagers and designers. They're just like in this mode, including my sister. I mean, we've had these moments where I'm just like, are you really maximizing your time? We get paid according to the time, and you want to maximize that. So I'm speaking to my stagers when I say that, but also the 30% of you looking into the industry, loving design, I'm speaking to you too, because you're here because you love design, and you've been looking into this industry, wondering if it's a fit for you. And the thing is that I hear this a lot from people where they're like, I've been looking at this for 5 years. I wish I started 5 years ago. So one thing I shared in a blog post, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but I interviewed, I kind of threw out in our Stagers Connect, that was what I showed you. Stagers Connect, we have a private Facebook group, and I asked all the people that signed up last month, I just put out, hey, what's your background? You signed up, tell me a little bit about, let's connect. And I got some really interesting responses. These are the kind of people like you, kind of who jump into this industry. And if you're looking in the industry, you're going to relate to these stories. And if you are a stager designer, you're going to relate to, you're probably there. But I love it. Lisa is jumped into the training because she's rediscovering herself, rediscovering those passions. And we talked about that. She's almost an empty nester and she wants to engage her creative side. I love that. Andrea, who's kind of the opposite side, she's on the young, she's 29. She was just ready to stop being a corporate robot. She had been bounced around 8 times. How many of you in the chat room just say me if you feel like that corporate robot? You're just like, ugh. And she never liked the idea of working for someone else's dream. But the bills, the dog, the cat, social norms just got in the way, right? I can really relate to her. The idea of being more present for her family and creating her work schedule, all the while making homes look beautiful, sounded like her kind of life. And she finally decided to pursue it. One thing you're going to see, and I know you're going to feel this way, especially if you're looking into it, is this combination of feeling terrified and excited. And they all say that. Terrified, I'm excited, but I know it's the right decision. And you obviously know she loves decorating. That's the common thread. Carla responded. She actually went through the great resignation last year. She quit her job of 19 years to just join the real estate industry. Yeah, she loves it. The change is exciting and terrifying. So funny. They use those 2 words. I get it. That's how everybody has felt that's taken my training for the last 15 years. Don't worry. I've got some after wonderful success stories, lots to share. And when she finally decided to pull the plug and jump in and trust herself, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. She did a jump for joy. I love it. She jumped for joy. And then Chelsea, she's 28. She's on the other side of the spectrum. Just had her first baby. And there's something about when you have your first baby, and you can see that was kind of when my epiphany hit, when I had my second baby, and I was like, what am I doing? I want to do what I want to do. And that's what Chelsea said too. She wanted the flexibility, excited, nervous, scared, never thought she could possibly own her own business. Like, just never thought that being an entrepreneur, we always think that that's just way out here, super difficult, right? And so it's interesting. And then Zenobia's story I really loved. She's retired office manager, and her daughter actually pushed her into it. Her daughter's a realtor and said, and I was going to ask you guys this, you do have people that are like, you should do this, or is that how you started? If you're a stager designer and somebody said, maybe you staged your own home and the agent's like, seriously? Okay, I need you to come to be my stager, right? How many of you can relate to that? Yeah. Well, that's what happened with her. Her daughter bought her the business cards, her email, set her up, T-shirts, basically set up her business. And now she's going to do $1 million home in March. So funny, right? So it brings me to you, right? Did you decorate your room as a child? Go ahead and put yes if you did that, or at least your Barbie house. That's what I did. I would have dreamed to have a big Barbie house like this. Yeah. We think everybody's like us, and they're not. I used to call it the sickness that we all had, and somebody complained to me. They're like, that sounds so negative. And I'm like, okay, you're right. But we are the very minority few that actually really live and breathe this. We love it. You love HGTV, you decorated your room. And then on the flip side, for my current stagers, this is for the people looking into the industry, because I like to speak to both when I'm training. Are you currently a stager, but you don't necessarily feel like your heart is in all the services that you have to offer, or you're worried you're turning down work that you shouldn't be turning down, and maybe you're wondering if you really need to be opening yourself up to more, but you just don't know how. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting a lot of yeses. Got it. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I love it. I want to tell you right now, the opportunity is now. And of course, I got to share a little before and after photos, but I want you to think about that, because the opportunity is just incredible right now, and I'm going to share it with you. That's going to bring me to number 11. I told you in the notebook. Number 11, I want you to really start researching your market and understanding the market outlook in your particular market. Now, Reset, our Real Estate Staging Association, came out with brand new statistics. And a lot of people thought, well, the homes are selling so fast, they don't need to be staged, right? Everybody thinks that, or they're getting that sometimes from certain agents. But here's the deal. Staged homes are averaging 40,000 over list price. So, okay, your home sold really fast at what you were asking for it. The staged home's averaging 40,000 more. I mean, that's incredible, right? And I've seen stories after stories in Stagers Connect where it's getting 100,000, 200,000 because of the staging. And so the stats are just astounding. And then also just the investment of 1.3% is resulting in a 7.1. So crazy, crazy stats. Nearly 1/3 of Americans. This is a crazy stat. Have you guys seen this? Go ahead and put yes or no in the chat if you've seen this stat. Nearly 1/3 of Americans plan to relocate. And you may be thinking, well, no, there's no inventory. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, no. This just came out from Redfin, February 23rd, 2022. So what was that, last week? All my stats are new, you guys. If you don't believe me, I'm like, what? Okay. The share of home buyers planning to move from one region to another, really relocating, they're moving. Everybody since COVID is just like, oh, nearly 1/3, they want to relocate. They're looking, it's at a record high. This is their plan. They're predicting this over the next year. This is Redfin, you guys. They're pretty legit. That is crazy. That's what I mean, opportunity. So in the staging realm, when real estate is hot and people are moving, that our business is booming. Now, our business is pretty economy proof. Trust me, I've been through 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those homes just needed to be staged to even sell. So it's really cool to see that. And then what's more, owners are averaging $225,000 in housing wealth. Now, what does that mean for us? I'm talking big picture, you guys. This is the average housing wealth each state has been getting year over year. So if you live in California like me, you're averaging $120,000 a year in equity in your home. So people are equity rich right now. And I know that's no surprise to you guys, but what does that usually mean? How does that translate? It translates to remodeling. It translates to design. And there's no surprise that according to the 2022 QM House Renovation Barometer, designers, there's a backlog. Designers, contractors, there's so much work out there. And in fact, I mean, all these dark states, most all of them, means the designers are 10 weeks out. There's so much opportunity. It's just crazy right now. I love it, you guys. Somebody said, can I do this seasonally? Yes, there's so much opportunity out there. You just kind of, and when you own your own business, you get to claim what you want. And I'm going to talk about that. Spending is on the rise. Got to go quick through these. People are planning to spend 10% more than they did last year, at least in the remodels. That was last year. Now it's even more. Top service provider hiring someone. We are now in the outsourced decade, right? You just want someone to do it for you. I mean, last holiday design season, my stagers were going crazy. People didn't even want to decorate their own Christmas trees. And I don't blame them, we are all so overwhelmed. And if design is not your thing, it's the kind of thing that they just want to outsource. And so it's just, there's so many different ways that you can do things. So pro hiring is climbing, especially for kitchen design. There's so many different opportunities. I actually did a Google search, Google kind of word search, and like the searches for home stager, kitchen designer, interior designer, a lot of different niches, Airbnb designer, all those searches were up in Google like 100% over like 4 months ago. So it's shocking to me. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on in our industry? And the essence is real estate is hot. It creates this equity. People want to remodel. They want to renovate. I shouldn't say remodel. They want to renovate. They want their place to look good. They need to update it. There's plenty of work for all of us, but the smart stager adapts and markets themselves. So that's number 11. I told you there's definitely ways they find those avenues. for their business. And a lot of it is from exploring multiple services for growth. They don't just say, this is what I do, and that's all I want to do, especially when they're just getting started. So number 10 success tip is really expanding those services. Be the answer to your client's needs at first, and that way you're not turning down work, especially when you're building your business. I always call it like getting over the hump. Now, my stagers on the line, can you relate to this where, how long did it take you, I should say, to get over the hump with your business, where you started getting a job or 2 jobs and that sort of thing? And I don't have as many veteran stagers on the line, but I'd be curious to see what you think. All right. So I always say, and this is why my training teaches both staging and design, you really want to be proficient in both. And then even consider, somebody mentioned seasonal, adding holiday design, Airbnb design, model home design, feng shui, organization, window coverings, commercial space design. Do you see what I'm saying? There's so many services. In other words, don't limit yourself. Be a rock star. And in fact, in the chat room, if you do list in the chat room, talk about what kind of services you offer. I'm just really curious. I'm getting you guys a lot of typing. I want to see what you say. What other services have you been offering that you're really loving right now? I know I have a lot of linking into the industry, but I'm just curious. E-design. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of e-design. The thing about e-design is you can do it for anyone, anywhere. It's pretty hot. Thanks, Lynn. Why redesign? Yeah, a lot of redesign. People just want you to come into their home and can you work with what they have and maybe make some shopping suggestions or help them go shopping? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of organizing, space planning. Love it. Design. I'm seeing, like I said, a lot of kitchen remodels, small remodels. Yeah, bath redos. Okay, you guys are good. Interior styling. Yes, I love it. So much. If you have any interesting niches, I'll be curious in the chat room. Put it out there. But I always say start with staging. So if you're looking into this and you're like, do I do a design course, a staging course? Here's why I always say start with staging. I've always been a huge proponent of staging, and then I teach design on week 3. And that's the reason, because it's really easy to market. Much easier, actually. Even though design's hot right now, staging's your inside track. It's like the inside door. You have these target markets, they're called real estate agents, who are really easy to market to, and they buy from you over and over again, or even new home builders. I have a lot of my stagers. Talked to a stager on the phone just yesterday, Victoria in Lake Havasu. She joined my training in 2007, and then when she moved to Lake Havasu, she couldn't do any staging because the stager there charged next to nothing, and so she pivoted. Smart. We talk about pivoting, and she's now working with home builders and doing like massive multi-million-dollar model home designs. Love it. But it's really that low barrier to entry. You have people you can refer business to. I told you my sister, the agent she works with, is like one agent keeps her 90% busy. It's easy to start, and you actually get all the perks of being a designer, when you join my training, because I connect you then with all wholesale shopping, all the things that designers, all the vendors that designers get, you get as a stager. Because now as a staging group, we're big time big. My membership alone is 4,000 people. We have buying power, and those vendors want us. So in the past, where we didn't have that, it's kind of nice. It's a great place to start. You don't need that 4-year degree. So it's a perfect start, and it can be done while you're working full time, like you'll see with Jackie, which a lot of people do. Okay, so Lindsay Machado, I love her story. This is her she has her certificate. She joined my training just for fun. A lot of people just dip their toe, but then all of a sudden her husband lost her job, and her mantra was she needed to jump in and support her family. So once she kind of committed to that and committed to what she wanted to do, she was telling me she was on track to make 6 figures as a one-woman show. And a lot of people don't think you can do that, but you absolutely can. Now, she's expanded her business. How did she do that as a one-woman show? She's expanded her business virtually and nationally. She took my e-design course. That's really helped. And it's been pretty crazy, she says. She hesitates to share her successes, how much it's grown. But of course, she was just sending me this. She wanted it to share with me because of the training, obviously. And then she also did the color training. So it's a one-woman show. She's doing a lot of virtual consults, e-design, and then consultations in and out. And then she's even doing a lot of design work. Here is a before and after kitchen And it's funny because some of the kitchen she's tackling, it's not terrible, but look what she did. Not pretty. Feel free in the chat room to ooh and ah. Yeah, because you have access to resources to make those changes. This kitchen remodel that she did, I absolutely love. And this is why design is so hot right now, you guys. A lot of homes were built, remember, during the first bubble in the early 2000s? Remember these kitchens? There's millions of them out there. And everybody wants that kitchen changed, right? I mean, it speaks to what, 2006? You guys kind of know. Um, and here she did this, and this is a light, believe it or not, a light kitchen remodel. She didn't change the flooring. She didn't do all brand new cabinets, although they look brand new. She put jewelry on them and she had them refaced. And then new countertops and then some wow tile to bring it all. And of course, lighting's just like makes all the difference, right? This is another before for Lindsay and after. Because a lot of what she's doing now is Airbnb. This is an Airbnb before and after. And I'm hearing from a lot of my members, they're doing a lot of that. I teach Airbnb training in that training and how to market it, how to structure it, all those sort of things. So definitely I recommend you lock in. Yes, I have payment plans on that link that Scott shared. So it's just going to be the best price. So I highly recommend, just do the payment plan. Here's a little stat. Again, when I did my trends, the Airbnb industry alone is going to grow 10% year over year. I just connected with an Airbnb property manager that manages Airbnb properties all over the country. I'm hoping to connect him with my Airbnb designer soon. But I asked her, do you have designers that you choose? And she said, no, but I get that request all the time, right? There's such a need. I love this. Kathy just sent me this testimonial like last week. It was very cool. Just saying it was by far the most in-depth training. It is not like it's not just about staging certification. Staging certification is like the first 5 days of it. It just goes into everything else. And she goes on to say it's worth every single penny. She also did the e-design, and next up is color. Thank you for sharing. And she's so excited. That's really sweet. Thank you, Kathy. I don't even know if she's on there. Great. There's so many possibilities. So let me go to number 9. Still got lots to go through for you guys because a lot of us really struggle with this one. Trusting yourself and choosing you. Now, I get that. People always, you heard those people's stories. They were terrified and excited, wondering if they can trust that they can do a business themselves. Wondering if the timing is right? How many of you guys, oh, Kathy, I love it. I love it when I get to feature somebody and they're on the workshop. Anyway, how many of you guys in the chat room have been watching my workshops for over a year? I'm always curious, just wondering if the timing is right and not having jumped in, not anything, looking into the industry, or even if you've just been looking into the industry, researching it for over a year. I'm just curious if there's very many of you. Yeah, I hear it all the time. So I get it. They're trusting whether that timing is right. There's that fear of whether I can do this, right? Entrepreneurship is scary. It is. Or even just finances. Is it the right time for that? I love it. Kelly's good. But here's the deal. I want to kind of reassure you because you've been through a lot in the last couple of years. You really, really have. We all have, right? The fear is real. You have to recognize it, and then we stomp it. We're stomping the fear down because we can't live in fear. Right? And if we didn't recognize that kind of over the last few years, fear is consuming and we can't live in it. It's no place to be. And in all honesty, because of everything we've gone through with COVID and everything else, you've already been forced out of comfort zones, and you did okay, right? How many of you can relate to that? I love it, you guys. Sherry's, everyone's giving advice in the chat room. You guys are good. Because I was pushed out of my comfort zone as a trainer, as a stager. I mean, obviously, when everything shuts down, you're pushed. But pushing out of that comfort zone, I don't know about you, that made me more creatively energized than ever before. I got 10 times stuff more done in the last 2 years than I did probably in the last 10. It was just crazy. Do you guys relate to that? So it's just sometimes a matter of pushing through the fear. And and focusing on really it's what's making you happy in your life. I mean, if you are just totally happy, not necessarily content, but you are waking up every day, like Jackie said, and loving what you're doing and just can't wait to go out there and help people and you're just in your zone, then I'm not, you're good. But if you're like questioning, am I doing this right as a stager? Am I picking the right services? You know, sometimes it's fear even as a stager that's keeping you from doing maybe services or exploring new things that you should be exploring. Yeah, I love it. Save your questions to the end. I'm definitely going to answer them. Don't worry. Inaction is still a choice. You're moving forward, but not moving forward. Okay, a lot of you asked for just the getting started. How do I just get started? Here's some like zero budget kind of getting started ideas. Research your market. I already walked you through. Look at your local market. Is it an Airbnb market? Probably. There's an opportunity. Vacation rentals. What are the stagers doing in your market? What kind of services are they offering? Kitchen design, you do a little research and see what's out there. And don't again, let that fear creep up. When we're stomping the fear, this is just recon mode so that you can see, and I told you, competition's loose. A lot of people are just too busy. I am hearing from stagers that they're turning away work. Designers you saw are 10 weeks out. So, and then you have to make that vision for yourself. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? And even my stagers, if you're in the staging world, what kind of services do you see yourself doing? And then you have to find your story, your voice. And I always say you have to get personal, your relatable story. People will resonate to that. Then you create from that story your mission. And the mission is your motivation. We're going to talk about that. Understand your strengths and weaknesses. You got to do a little self-reflection. I mean, this is kind of what I go over in people in day one of my training, a lot more in detail, obviously, because it's a full day. But it's super important because this is big picture stuff because you are the product. Your talent is that product. And that talent, and you see from Lindsay, people want it. They need it. So start then using that talent and photographing spaces in your own home, in a friend's home. I've had stagers, they start getting confident in the training and they go to a friend, hey, I'm just going through this certification training. Do you mind if we do a redesign and, for photography? They do it. And then another friend asks another friend and their business just grows from there. It's just funny. That's how you build your portfolio because you have to have that portfolio. You really do. That's your bread and butter. And it has to look good. It has to look great, actually. And then you got to pick a business name. And I have a lot of people where they let the fear of just picking a business name get in their way. And I have some advice on that too. Once you do that, you reserve your domain and your business is ready to fly. So if you're quick starting, like Zenobia was doing when her daughter bought her business cards, pick a name that's simple, consistent, and broad. Don't just stick with staging. I always say that to my stagers. Don't say Sally Staging because you're going to probably do design and everything. You're going to probably do a lot. I have a lot of my stagers to do a combo of everything. And don't worry, I'm going to follow up an email with a link to the course and the recap right after this. You guys are good. Consider your own name. I always say that. Audra Slinky Design. Audra Slinky Interiors. You cannot go wrong with that. Search Google and Facebook just to make sure no one else has it if you have a common name. And then do a logo if you want. Keep it simple. In my training, I give you a bunch of Canva logos. You just print and go. And then I said you can also, Canva is a free resource. If you've never heard of it, you're going to love it. It's what entrepreneurs use all the time. It's super easy to create anything you want, to create marketing materials, and then they print it. So in my training, here's what Canva looks like, and you can see all the cool things that they'll let you print, like social media posts, presentations. All my presentations I create in Canva. Everyone says, how do they look so good? That's how it is. Here's some of the business cards that we have in the training where you can see somebody just puts in their business name and then they change up their information. It's in Canva. It's a template. So they can change this information and then go to print in Canva, and it's like $25 for 50 cards. And if you just want to quick start your business, do that. Like Zenobia's daughter did for her, because that's her daughter knew she had the talent. That's all she needed to do to get herself out there. These are more business card templates. We have a bunch in our training, and we provide business brochures. This is a staging brochure in Canva. So again, all you're doing is changing out the name and the phone number, and here's the inside of the brochure, swapping out. You don't want my photo on there, put your beautiful photo on there, your interior photo, and print. And then now you can go to real estate offices and just, talk to them with the brochure. So if you were wondering, I don't even know how to create marketing collateral, or you're agonizing over it, if you're a new stager and you don't have this sort of stuff, I'll save you months of time with just that stuff. Again, we're stomping the fear. We're not letting fear slow us down to what we want. Whether you're a new stager trying to build your business, a veteran stager trying to expand your business, whether you're looking into the industry going, can I do this? Everybody starts right where you're at. Another key to the successful stagers, number 7, is staying motivated. How many of you guys struggle with this? Staying motivated and staying kind of on top of things, that checklist. Sometimes I do get distracted. And I definitely have a lot of tips on that. I do my goal setting workshop at the beginning of every year that kind of walks people through the crazy calendars that I create, because this is how I focus. I write, I note, and I plan. And that's how you get 10 times more things done. So in my training, I also talk about you got to write down. You write down all these things. Like when I told you what you need to do for getting started, hopefully you wrote some of that stuff down. Canva, start building the business cards. Pick your name. Make your plan. Where do you see yourself? What is your story? What kind of brand do you want to see? And that's what you did when you did research in your market area. This is all free stuff you could do for your business. That's going to help you to know what kind of brand and look and feel you're going to want, right? People buy from personal connection. You have to be real. Speaking of my veteran stagers whose websites, a lot of times I go on them, I'm like, the about us does not speak to me. You really have to, kind of get personal. Tap into what motivates you personally. And I'm motivated with chocolate, maybe wine at the end of the day. You got to tap into it, right? What is your motivation? That's what you have to do. But the motivation is also part of your story. And getting back to Lindsay, because I just love, this is our Facebook thread, by the way. And I just thought, oh my gosh, it speaks to my whole presentation. She put that she's been, she told me, 6 figures. She had that business structure there, thanks to you, Audra, ha, ha, ha. She says, sky is the limit in regards to what you can do with design. She saw the big picture. It's been pretty amazing. My company name, Designed with Grace and Joy, is after my 2 little girls' middle names. And I love having them see their mom be a total boss. So what do you think is motivating Lindsay, right? The example she's setting for her 2 little girls. She is the boss. She stepped in when her family was in crisis and did better than she ever thought she could. How cool is that? So what is your motivation? What is your mission? What is that? And I know how that feels. But at the end of the day, you've all told me you love design. If you are working on something that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. So getting back to trusting your vision and instincts, you have been training yourself on design since you were a little kid. You all told me that. Nobody does that. You're like that little teeny 10% of the population. And Steve Jobs is a pretty knowledgeable guy. So I got to throw that in there. Number 6, the other thing that successful stagers do is they discover their sweet spot. I talked to you about that, and I'm speaking to my veteran stagers too a lot on this one. And you have to kind of decide whether you want more of a consultation-based business or a vacant-based business. And I've talked about this a lot in prior workshops if you want to see trainings. But I love even Barbie's story. She originally, and I'll paraphrase because I don't want to run out of time with you, she wanted a consultation-based business. Like, what is that? That's a zero overhead. People think they need to buy all this furniture to be a stager and put it in homes. You do not. A lot of homes just need you in the home, telling them what to do. Here's what you can shop for, in, out, done, that kind of walk and talk. And it starts with that, and then you can expand to other consultation services, from color to e-design to package services, kitchen consultations, Airbnb. You're in, you're out, you're done. You don't have to invest in a bunch of stuff, and you have that package and plan. And Barbie, in this case, started that way because she just wanted to do that route and didn't know if this was really for her. And she sent me this email 3.5 years later, and I loved it because she's like, I didn't have money. I just thought, I'm going to try this. She's like, now I am making money. I've got employees. She's created jobs for other people. She's award winning. And she just decided to send me an email out of the blue. I thought that was kind of cool to just say thank you. And I like that because she's like, you changed my life. But I didn't change her life. She changed her own life, really. She just took a chance on herself and expanded. Because here's the thing that I'm speaking to my veteran stagers, especially my vacant ones. A well done and well positioned staging job should turn into a move-in redesign, because the home seller is statistically far more inclined to spend money on the home they're moving into. When did you do a renovation on your home? You probably did it when you moved in. And stagers get first crack at interior designers' best client. Who is their best client? The new homeowner. That's another reason why I always say, even if you're an interior designer, do staging, because you're getting first crack at your number one. If you're an interior designer struggling, there you go. It's amazing. Home stagers, my vacant stagers who don't want to do design, unless they absolutely love vacant staging and that's all they want to do, there's a lot of money to be done. Trust me. Putting furniture in, I'm going to share some stories. Everybody thinks that's the big money. That is where a lot of the big money is. But a lot of my stagers who are kind of dipping their toe in both, and they kind of like the design part, they just are leaving money on the table because they don't know how to answer that question when a client says, can you do design? If you're a stager, I'm really curious in the chat room, new stager, veteran stager, and people are asking you to do design and you turn that work down, will you say if that's you in the chat room? I'm curious because I saw a huge thread on Facebook recently where that's what they were saying. I don't know how to package it. It sounds like a lot of work. And the problem is because they told them, yeah, I'll do design. You what do you want? And they let the client determine their design package instead of them having a design package and telling them, here's how you fit into my design plan. And that's one reason I created my e-design training, is it allowed people to focus on, here, let's do a design plan, a mood board, starting with that. And I always say, if you spread your services, focus on a niche from color to e-design. And Gina, she's a big time vacant stager, but she actually did. I know a lot of my vacant stagers are like, I don't even have time to take an e-design training. I get it, but she did. She's like, in 3 days, I set this up on my site with an additional service. So it was very easy for her to pivot, offer design plans, mood boards, and expand into design. And that's my point. That training is a 3-day training. So here's another story I shared of a stager who she does e-design, like pure HGTV moments. And I share a lot of stories. I just videoed 20 different videos in the last 2 weeks of stagers in my Stagers Connect, their success stories. You're going to see a lot of those in the next 2 months. I'm going to start sharing all those stories. There's so many of the way they ran their business. It's kind of fun. I like to hear them. They're very inspiring. But basically within 6 months of taking the training, she was paid herself over 6 figures doing high-end sourcing for a trade design plans for clients. And in my training, I show you how to do that. I show you that in the e-design training. I show you that in the HSR training, how you shop successfully, where you get the product wholesale. Her cost is wholesale, and you sell it retail. And then she actually does the full install HGTV moment in the home. You see all those products are in there. So it's really, really cool. Here's the thing about the e-design is we have 100 growing design projects within the mood board technology. We've partnered with Design Files. That's the mood technology. It's the best one in the industry. You could run your business alone using that. You could do all your invoicing, your questionnaire, everything is in that software. They have their own subscription, but when you join my training, you get 100 different design boards to choose from. We actually just offered an Airbnb one because we know for so many of you it's really hot right now. And we put this is a sleeper sofa, you guys. We did furniture, all this furniture for less. So if you're going to do an Airbnb, I mean, all you need to do is take this board or presentation and start, going to real estate investors and saying, ready to do some design? We also added a design trends board. And even if you took my training, like the people who took my training 3 years ago, they still get every new board we come out with. they still get it in their design files account, because whatever change I make to my design files account goes into the little sub folder of your account. So it's all sorts of cool stuff. It allows us to keep, so you're never reinventing. So for those of you who just want to dip your toe into design, you're like, maybe I just want to shop from my friends, or I'm shopping for myself. You want to learn how to shop trade, get good deals. This is a good course for you, eDesign. You guys said, there's a question, do you need a website? It says, oh, no, actually, the thing is Design Files actually has a questionnaire. It's ideal to have a website. And that's why I do have a website product, because I never want it to slow anyone up. But I also, you could use, I see people use their Facebook page for their business, and they use Design Files, and it works. What is the renewal fee for Color and eDesign? Danielle, the thing is with the Color and eDesign, unless you didn't finish the 3-day training, I mean, you could. I mean, a lot of people renew because I add new stuff every year. It's only $100 each. I love Design Files. You're right, Kim. I do too. It's pretty much the coolest thing. Vereen, yes, the eDesign does introduce you to wholesaling. It does. I've got a lot of tips and affiliate marketing, but wholesaling is kind of where the money's at. All right. You have nothing to lose by trying, trusting yourself, and everything to gain. Here's Patricia. This was crazy. I got this random from her iPhone email last year where she said, I took your color training. She took the color training 4 years ago, standalone, and she thought it was just going to be a part-time thing. And lo and behold, it's turned into a very lucrative career choice for her. She's making very good money just doing color consultations. I mean, there is a need. I mean, you talk about niche, there it is. And she is just killing it, which I love it. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that you could make great money just doing colors, but people, my own trainees, are proving me wrong, because I always say expand your services. And then Brittany Tiffany, she's one of my HSR grads. I love this. I had to share it. She just shared this on Facebook, and she took my training. I mean, this was years ago, but what's really cool is she took it and actually opened up retail and expanded to new builders. She just shared that she landed a new construction build account. Just this year, on that one account, she's going to make $700,000 on that one account. Yes, she's amazing. But what's cool is these, again, are stories of stagers taking their business in different directions unexpectedly, from new stagers to veteran stagers. And that's why I like to share that. So for those of you who said you've been looking at this for years, don't be like Judith, where she's like, something just clicked and I did it, and now I'm sorry I waited. I always hear that. And then Ashley, I love this because I hear this a lot from people. She sent me this text. She's just like, I was actually making money in week 1 of your training. My confidence was through the roof. I expanded my services. And in week 1, I quick started, because I have a quick start, and I just, started doing it all. And she's realizing, again, finding her sweet spot, that Airbnb and redesign is her favorite. And I love that, because the staging and design training kind of lets you dip your toe in all of it, so you can see what you're going to love. Which leads me to number 5, structure equals success. When you have a process, I'd mentioned this, a packaged process, you're not willy-nilly, you're not letting your client determine what your process and your packaging should be. You have that. You are going to appear credible, confident, professional, and believable. That little fear that you may have that people are going to ask you how long you've been doing this or whether you have a 4-year degree, stomp it, because nobody will ask you that if you have a structure. That's really the secret sauce to my training, is it's structured. So I structure everything, So this is just a small little example of the structured order sheet I give people, and I have a phone script. But basically, so you're asking all the right questions. The red stuff is for vacant, so that if it's a vacant home, you can give them an estimate over the phone. A structure is success. That's the reason why in my eDesign training, I give you all of those pre-done boards, because I know, again, you're not reinventing, and there's a structure to each board. I have a inspiration room, the color sheets, there's a structure, because I know when you have that, you have a starting place. So details, systems, those kind of things matter. So for the successful stager, that's really the secret. Even a structure in the way you do marketing, the way you're identifying your favorite target person, all those things. Number 4, Trust your instincts. A lot of people take on clients that were red flag clients and have huge regret. And I say this a lot in my training. The stagers that are moving forward, they're not afraid to say no to people. And they trust their instincts even in the home. You have been training yourself on the elements of great design since you were a child. You all told me that. So trust your instincts in the home. Again, that fear of, what if I go in a home and I don't know what to do? Stomp it, because you got to just trust your instincts. Everybody has that fear. They think they have that fear. And then guess what? They go in the home and like their instincts take over. They start envisioning new things. But remember, creativity is a muscle. You need to really, we're going to talk about the next thing, and that is refine your knowledge. Trust in the law of attraction, that the right client will come to you when you put yourself out there. Again, that's your instincts. Trusting that gut instinct of people. Say no to the red flag client. I have a whole list of red flags. I tell all my stagers, just walk away. They're not a fit. And every time I've broken that own rule myself, I'm so regretful, because now that person is wasting 80% of my time, and that's the thing. If you say yes to the wrong person, it's not a good choice. So listen well, set the clear expectations, have that contract that protects you. And in my training, I have a bulletproof contract, and there's no scenario that's come up that I don't think that contract covers, because I've seen it all, right, in 15 years. And just know that you can do this. So remember that story, Jackie, who started the training and she just wanted to wake up doing what she loved? Here is her design. So she's definitely in her sweet spot. And she shared on Facebook in the last few months, which was really cool. She just staged this 100-year home. I freaking love my job. Isn't that cool? She's waking up every day loving what she does. Her goals were met. She went full time. She actually quit her full-time job. I love that. She's pursuing. It takes work. You have to pursue it. You have to remember, stay motivated, but you can do it. And you're always, always learning and refining your talent. If you're a person that's not in the learning mode, if you're a stager and you have not taken a class in a year, then you're going to struggle, because everything is changing. Everything changes. So you always have to be refining that talent, studying design, always subscribe to the Design I Love, Lonnie, Domino, House, all those places that you get good design tips. I do that every day. You got to stay on top of trends, design, real estate, renovation, return on investment. Basically, that's what that ROI, so that statistics. And if that sounds not good to you, then maybe this, isn't a fit, because every entrepreneur knows you have to be willing to learn if you're excited about what you're learning about. So again, that vision pulls you if you love the stuff. I love it. Leslie just shared this. So I did a trends workshop a month ago, and I add it to all my trainings, because again, this is how we stay on top of the industry. And Leslie shared this, and it surprised me, because Leslie is one of my longtime veterans, but she actually goes to almost all my workshops still. She is a true learner. And that is why I think probably one of the secrets to her success is her desire to always learn. Do you guys understand like what I'm saying there? I love that. And then number 2, there's no ignoring it. You really do need to have a great brand, right? You just need to have a killer website and brand, because we are in the image industry. You have to look the part, and that's okay. I mean, hey, if I can do it, guys, look at me. I'm not always I'm a granola girl from Santa Cruz, so I struggle sometimes to look the part, and I struggle with style. I need a personal stylist. So, I get it. We all have those fears. We all have those weaknesses, but we have to look great online. Online is kind of where it's at. So using, social media, that's the good news, is you can use social media, your website. Websites are like iPhones. They do date. So it's not the kind of thing, oh, I did my website 5 years ago and that's fine. No, people will judge you on that. And I have been guilty of that. That's why we've been kind of rebooting our own site. Again, look at your portfolio photos, redo them, get really good at taking photos. One thing in my training that I have is Lightroom. How many of you guys use Adobe Lightroom? It's a free app on your phone, and it just makes your photos super Instagrammable when you have these what's called Lightroom presets. Well, I paid this awesome, amazing photographer to create Lightroom presets just for interiors for my stagers. And And so I have that in my training. I show them how they do it. So there's like 5 different choices. So they can upload their photo and go, do I want that one, that, look at it in all different lightings so that they have the Instagrammable, Lightroom. You are your brand. You got to own it. I talked about that. You have to really own who you are, put your story out there. Again, believe in the law of attraction, make it easy for clients to contact you, be in all the places that people are interested in. On your website, have a way to capture your visitors. You spend money sending people to your site, make sure you capture them, give them something good, all those things. So marketing made simple, market according to your strengths. So in my training, I have a lot of marketing ideas, and I don't do that so that you do all the ideas. I do it so that if you're a teacher, maybe your strength is presenting in real estate offices. If you are really good at social media, well, then there you go. That's going to be your strength. You just got to know that. Just want to make sure that who's your ideal client? If you want to pursue redesign, who is that person? Where are they? E-design and in color, Airbnb, all of those things. Marketing is a numbers game. Most stagers aren't playing it. So that's the good news. The most people get into this, they're creatives and they don't have a plan for their marketing. They're just not playing it. And that's kind of essential. It's not hard to be better. And remember, this is like kind of my mantra. Marketing is enthusiasm transferred to the customers. I'm so excited about people empowering people to change their lives, follow their passions, and create businesses that they love. That fires me up. And I know you feel it in the workshops. Lindsay, getting back to this little photo, this is what she did. This is how she got her first client. She took the certification when she passed it. She printed it, put it on a frame, and she did a little video like this. It was a GIF. She made that her Facebook profile photo. And that's like, just, hey guys, friends and family, I just got certified. I love it. I'm happy to help you. That's how she started her marketing, getting over the hump. Is that amazing? And then finally, the secret is just never having to reinvent, knowing where to go to get all the answers that you need. And of course, I'm going to say, go back to my training. It is A to Z. It is more than you need. You're not like tested on all of it. It just has all the resources. So it's more like a franchise where you get to pick and choose. It gives you the platform and you can pick and choose what you really are drawn to. It's all in there. Everyone's like, well, can I just pay for this section? No, it's all in there. That's just the way it was built, and you could just pick and choose what you want, and it's just going to be that ongoing resource for your business. And we have a very active Facebook group. I've got a post I just posted. It is a training. There's a sneak peek into that Facebook group. So if you're questioning, you might want to look at that post. I just did it on our home staging resource website. It is a training within a training. If you need to search for anything else, all the answers are there. So many of my veterans are in there answering questions. You get a hard copy manual. It's 3 weeks. Anyone have questions on the training? Oh, I love it, Sherry. Sherry's already busy. Love it. Buying wholesale and selling retail. Yes. So there are most every vendor out there. If you go to Wayfair, all of the vendors on Wayfair, that's retail vendors. Vendors like Curry and Company, vendors like Four Hands. There's maybe not ones that these are the ones that you see in Las Vegas market. Well, I connect you. There's hundreds of them. I connect you with conglomerate like areas where you can shop all at once at all of them, and they'll say, here's the trade cost, here's the retail cost. So that's the cost your client pays. This is truly your cost, and then you make the difference. And that's how a lot of designers get paid. I walk you through kind of strategies with that and best places to shop and the best ways to get it in the training. So here's all the forms. Like I said, it's all packaged. I said the secret is packaging. So packaging the staging, packaging. These are flyers in Canva. So you just print and go, you change the colors, everything. Having that structure, never reinventing. I even have a structure. This is a walkthrough guide. This is just living room walkthrough. It's check boxes so you can quickly walk through the home with your clients. So if you're worried that you won't know what to say or what to look for, that's why I have that. I have a huge walkthrough guide. You just click, click, click. Okay, do this, and there you go. And they get a full report, and it looks great. Contracts, obviously, for your services, and even checklists so you don't forget to bring what you need to bring. I got you covered. I'm super anal. Can you tell? It's all in there because confidence comes from knowledge. So investing in your learning will inevitably lead you to more confidence. And of course, I say, imagine if you learned a little bit from this 1 hour with me, imagine 3 weeks with me. Whew, you guys were great. Any questions on the training? So again, I just want to encourage you. The opportunity is so good right now. I mean, there's so much. Oh, Tammy, I'm so sorry. I'm going to send you the replay on the 10 things. There were actually 11 things, and I don't even have them memorized because this is a brand new training I just created. But I'll send you the replay. Yes, they're separate. The color and the e-design are separate courses. They're mini courses. They're 3-day. They're really, if you want to do, how do you do really successful design plans? The key to the e-design is you're getting 100 like never reinvent design boards. Like that's not even $10 a board. So it's a pretty good deal. And the color one is a 3-day and you get a color cheat sheet. So, and we're actually releasing a new update to that with our favorite colors. And it's so easy. I help you narrow down the colors in every space, test it with the clients. And then here's your client, here's your top 3 you pick with the cheat sheet. It's just super easy. Any other questions? You guys are great. Cheers to you.